comes the sun, I say it's alright.
Sup heathens, I'm Happy Viking and I'm here to make you awesome, one frothy pint of metal at a time. So drink up. Heavy metal is a greatly misunderstood genre of music, especially among stupid people who don't know anything about anything. Me and my countrymen tend to be conflated with Satanists for some dumbass reason. Probably because we both talk about Satan a lot. The thing is, we just talk about Satan. Satanists actually worship the guy. Quite a world of difference there. But because the accusations of Satanism keep springing up amongst idiots even to this day, I'm gonna lay it out in simple little baby words. Metalheads do not worship the devil, and we don't hate Christianity, or any religion for that matter. Well, most of us. There are odd exceptions, of course, but for the most part we are fairly tolerant and come from all sorts of religious backgrounds. Now allow me some time to blow your mind. Here's a quote I want to read you. Christ came and taught us about love, about doing unto others. That was his preach. Accept each other for who we are. Live peacefully and love one another. See? Good. Positive message. You know who said it? Tom Araya. Tom fucking Araya. See, stupid people? We're not devil worshippers. We just think all this Satan stuff is neat. You know, there's a certain visceral charm to satanic imagery that metalheads as a whole find appealing. I mean, come on, it's shocking, it's bold, it's audacious, and it goes with everything I wear. And, as such, it has a permanent home in metal, right along with tits, magic, and Norse mythology. So just because we put a little pentagram here or a decapitated goat's head there doesn't mean we're satanic evildoers. No, it's just schlocky good fun, and no one really takes it seriously. Except for one band. There's a band out there that takes it beyond mere fun. To them, it's an unholy creed. And they're gonna spread it on to you. And their name is Ghost. And let me tell you something, evil has never sounded this good. Ghost is a sweet-ass Swedish doom metal band and they play the real devil's music. No natter, no nonsense, no nothing. These suckers are evil. They are legit messengers of the end from the pit of the fallen one himself. A flock of nameless ghouls in black cloaks, led by the enigmatic and soft-spoken Papa Emeritus, which I'm pretty sure was Satan's rap name back in the day. Anyway, these guys sing songs of black magic and human sacrifice wrapped in a delightful and devilish retro rock package, evocative of Black Sabbath and Witchfinder General. Everything your parents lied to you about heavy metal has somehow inexplicably come into creation. Sweet, horrifying creation. But nevertheless, come, gather round, children, and hear the hellbound hymns and Luciferian licks of Ghost.
Tis the night of the witch. Tis the night of the witch tonight. She was an evil woman with an evil old soul. Hear us say a prayer. Our time you see a creed.
Yes, you did just see a song called Satan Prayer. Because that's just how this band rolls, baby. I mean, Kiss can blow me. These guys are the real knights in Satan's service. But not just any knights. Knights Templar. Or should I say, Frights Templar. Give me 5. No? These mighty Mephistophelian motherfuckers formed in 2008 in a Swedish city called Linköping. They released a demo in 2010, then a single called Elizabeth under a label called Iron Pegasus, which is the sweetest name for a record label ever. Anyway, then they got hooked up with Rise Above and released their primary magnum opus, Opus Eponymous, which is a fancy way of saying this album is self-titled. Which it is. You tricky bastards. Other than that, little else is known about the band. We don't even know the performers' real names. Ghost keeps all that shit under hardcore wraps. But I do have a wee bit of information on the members. But it's a spoiler. If you don't want your sweet groovy listening experience ruined, you better get out of here. Spoiler alert, big spoiler, 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 spoiler. You gone? Okay. From what I've read on Metal Archives and Metal Sucks, Papa Emeritus is really Tobias Forge, former singer for Repugnant and Subvision. Forge has writing credits in the Swedish Performing Rights Society as a Ghoul Writer, a name that also shows up in the liner notes on Opus Eponymous. Dun dun dun! Okay, since I revealed the lead singer's true identity, that means Ghost is officially pissed off at me and will be arranging for some infernal retribution. I will be expecting a visit from the devil in 1 or 2 weeks. Keep an eye out for it. Speaking of the devil, Ghost loves the devil. I don't know if I mentioned that. Like, pretty much every metal band in existence has indulged in a little bit of devilry, some a little more than others, but Ghost's whole point is pretty much about preaching the power of the Prince of Demons. Their unholy mission is to use their music as a means to communicate pure evil, thus ensuring the destruction of society and the creation of hell on earth. See, it's all right there on their Facebook page. Those fiends. Yeah, these guys are kind of goofy because of how seriously they take all this stuff. Thank God their music is so catchy. You'd think the devil's music would be a lot more angry. Nope, actually fairly calm and mellow. Take another listen. It's pretty much just hard rock from the late 70s. You know, if it were possessed by a legion of demons. Man, I can just smell this 70s coming off of this band. Smells like reefer. Smells so dead, human sacrifices. And that. Thank you, Ghost. They have quite a few big-name fans, including James Hetfield, Phil Anselmo, and Fenris of Darkthrone. At this point, Ghost is the go-to band for impressing metal hipsters. And for that matter, regular hipsters. But metal hipsters are a bigger deal because metal hipsters are the biggest douchebags on the planet. You know these guys. It's the black metal fanatics who won't shut up about how Behemoth and Satyricon have sold out. The people who use the word cult unironically. If the metal bands you listen to have solid production, discernible lyrics, and record sales above 2 digits, then they brand you as unmetal and unfit to be in their presence. So you gotta understand that it's a goddamn miracle that we've managed to find some common ground in Ghost. But, as we all know, just because even the hipster likes something, it doesn't mean it's good. So, even with the infinite blessings of Beelzebub himself, Ghost ain't quite perfect. And here's why. There is the odd titter of criticism about Papa's singing. Not that it's a bad voice, mind you, quite the contrary, but that it sounds thin. It lacks power, which as I've mentioned before I like in a singer. While a little more power would be good, in Ghost, it actually kind of fits. The soft ethereal tone lends itself well to the band's underworldly sensibilities. It's kind of like how the scariest serial killer always has the softest voice. It's that kind of dissonant divide between the peaceful voice and the disturbing subject matter. However, it does occasionally get lost under their thick and edgy riff work, especially at live shows. A more common complaint about Ghost I've heard is that they're too gimmicky. Let that sink in. In a genre graced by the likes of Gwar, Lordi, Powerwolf, Ailstorm, and Swashbuckled, Ghost is just too silly and theatrical for people to handle. Clearly, I find this ridiculous. However, it does lead me to another complaint about their gimmick. I mentioned back in the Ailstorm review that I like gimmicks, so long as they're used well. Now, there's no doubt that Ghost takes their gimmicks seriously, but with that said, why do bands use gimmicks in the first place? Why does Powerwolf paint their face like that? Why does Ailstorm sing about drunken, time-traveling pirates? Why does Odorous Urungus ejaculate blood all over a screaming audience? 'Cause it's fucking fun! That's my main problem with Ghost. They're not having fun. They're not doing enough with their gimmick. See, a gimmick only works if you get the audience to accept it. You do this by getting them involved, getting them engaged. And I've seen footage of these guys at concerts, and they're not very engaging performers. They play one song, then they play another song, and so forth. I never see Papa Emeritus or any of the ghouls really interact with their congregation beyond an odd gesture or two. Hell, the most I've ever seen Papa do with his audience is simply trying to get a clap going. Dude, you're a preacher. Fucking preach! Interact with your audience and preach unto them the gospel of the fallen angel who art in hell! Ghost comes across as aloof and disinterested, which, while it's certainly in character for Satanist missionaries, it's not good for live shows. It kinda alienates your audience. So I'm just going to say this as genuine constructive criticism. Dear messengers of Satan, chill out a little. Yes, I'm telling you, the emissaries of the Inferno, to lighten up a bit. Come on, guys, your boss is Lucifer, also known as the Lightbringer. He has all the light you need, thus take some and lighten up a bit. Come on, guys, I thought hell was supposed to be fun. This is probably where their gimmick starts to do them in. Since they're not using their gimmick in a particularly entertaining way, it makes their gimmick look pointless, superfluous, or, worst case scenario, like a crutch. Some people perceive it that way, that Ghost is just a mediocre band who's only gotten as popular as they have with a lot of tricks, i.e. costumes, secret identities, provocative imagery, stuff like that. Now I can't say that these things didn't help them along, because they did. That's one of the things a gimmick is used for. Quick and easy identification. However, I think Ghost does stand on their own merits, so let me wrap up this calamitous cavalcade with some earnest words of praise. Even if you're put off by their gimmick or their standoffishness, you cannot deprive yourself of their solid and entertaining musical stylings. They take the retro sounds of the 70s and crank the devil gear into maximum overdrive, making music that is simultaneously pure evil and pleasantly agreeable. Fenris said these guys were going to be big, and I don't doubt that. They have a unique sound and it's going to take them far. They just need to get the stick out of their collective butts and interact with their audience more. Get them involved, get them to really believe in the unholy power of the devil. Then they can truly start conquering the world and preparing for the Dark One's coming. And so, I wish them a long and fruitful career of imbuing groovy music with pure evil. I'm Happy Viking, and you've just been served your recommended dosage of heavy metal. Rock on and drink responsibly. Shit, I just noticed that these guys look like minions, except more badass. Man, if you got Attila Dorn together with the Nameless Ghouls, you'd pretty much have the Hollywood adaptation of Hagen Reviews. You know, I really wouldn't mind seeing a show where Ghost and Powerwolf played together. You know, two completely different styles coming together to entertain. That would be quite the interesting, what's the word? Crossover. Yep. A crossover. Why are you looking at me like that?
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright.
Remember, nothing says Satanism quite like a mini fridge full of Red Bull.